In Kush we say hotel.
Hotel.
Kiswahili we say hujambo. Sijambo is the response. Sijambo. First and foremost, family, I want to thank all those that made it possible for me to be here. I want to thank my sister General Ahamara for always being there and for inviting me. I also want to thank her for allowing me to speak to you after dinner, probably after you've digested. There's some things we're going to talk about. I don't want no one to get indigested. Because we have to talk about some real issues. It's time. We are dealing with a time, very interesting. I've often told folks, I'll say it to you also, I never thought that I would be alive to live through these times. I knew they were coming, but I never thought it was going to come now. So this is how you know nothing ever happens in your time, it happens in divine time.
10 minutes what?
And I just want to thank all of you for coming out this evening. Because to me, as you become mature, you come to realize the most precious thing you have is time. Time is the most precious thing you have. You can have all the money in the world, you can lose it, you can make more. You can have 2 or 3 houses, they all can burn down, but you can build another. But there'll never be another February 1st, 2024. And so how you spent that day is so very important because you can't take it back. And if I could give our young people, and I'm so happy to see so many young people, because there's so much that we have to talk about. We have to be very serious about what it is that we want to talk to them. And the reality that we face, family, is that is why we have the term pay attention. Because the time you spend with your attention, you're paying a price that you can never get back again. There are certain things that we just have to come to realize. Scientifically, I like science. I don't get too much into emotion. Now, there's a good emotion and there's a not good emotion. See, because for as African people, what's interesting is the philosophy that comes out of West Africa, it comes out of East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, Central Africa. The reality is that there is what's good. In Kemet it was called Ma'at. And then there was what was not good, which was called Ishfet. But in the philosophy, there's no such thing as bad. It's just when it's not good. And that changes the way in which you look at the world around you. Because the greatest enemy amongst the human family, no matter what your culture is ignorance. And there's 2 types of ignorance. There's the ignorance when you don't know, and then the root word itself is the ignorance when you know the truth, but you ignore.
Ignore.
Black power.
Black power.
You know, the thing about black power is, we said it back in the day, black power, okay? And it was a phenomenal phrase and it motivated us, but the science of black is what you gotta know.
Break it down.
Because black is the only, it's not even a color.
Come on.
You go outside, you look up into the heavens, what you see black. All those stars up there, those are crystallized blackness, called narrow diamonds. We're talking science here, same emotion. What comes out of the pressure of the dark energy pushing in on dark matter creates an implosion. And when that implosion, study the science of this. When the pressure pushes in where there's no more room within this blackness, it implodes. And when it implodes, a star is born. Stars are crystallized blackness. Just like the blackness in the ground that's put under pressure, because it's fossil fuel. What you put in your car is just chemicalized blackness. That's what makes your car run. Oil, blackness, that comes out of fossil fuel, which comes out of millions and millions of years of living things that have decayed, but in that decay comes the pressure and the spirit of beauty, and that is what fuels the earth. Blackness. Now here's where I teach you to kindergarten. Get a piece of paper, and you take out the 8 primary colors. Start with red. You draw a line. You go to the color that is the mixture of when you take red and yellow, which is orange, you draw a line over the red. Then you take the yellow, you draw a line. Then you take the color that is mixed when yellow and blue is mixed, which is green, and you draw a line. And then you take blue, and you draw a line. And then you take indigo, which is the next color. You draw a line. And indigo is the only color that comes 2 times. Between the infrared and ultraviolet. See, we break in science here now. Because when you say black is beautiful, the next time I want you to understand, not only is black beautiful, it is the only thing that exists. And everything comes out of black, and when you take the protein, J.A. Rogers. J.A. Rogers in his 3-part series, Sex and Race said,
You know that name.
when you take protein out of the brown sugar, it becomes white sugar. When you take the protein out of brown rice, it becomes white rice. Now, should we go with the human being? see, they don't teach that. They stop there.
For a
Just
reason.
like they teach there's a thing called Punnett square that you teach in 6th grade. Punnett square is a square that you draw. I see people shaking heads, so you know what I'm saying. And you have the big B and you have the little b. The big B is the dominant, and the little b is the recessive. This ain't superiority or inferiority.
6th grade.
Because I believe Dr. King was right when he said that to be judged by the content of your character and not by the isms that create schisms. So I'm not here talking about superiority or inferiority, because I would not want to do to us, to our children, what was done to children of European descent, to make them think that there's somebody that they never were and never will be. There are things that we have to understand about our science, that when you take what is dominant and you blend it with dominant, it becomes dominant. See, they taught this in plants, though. They didn't teach it in human beings. Just like they didn't teach about the stripping of the protein. When you take a big B and you mix it with a little b, normally the result will be leaning more towards the big B than the little b. And when you take a little b and you made it with a little b, then it's recessive. The first thing that Europeans should have done when they came out of the mountains of the Ice Age was find the biggest, blackest person they could.
Oh, they probably did.
To be able to get back onto the line of life as opposed to the road of mass distinction. We're talking science. I ain't mad at you. But we got to teach our children. Black is beautiful. And that the only way we can ever function is to realize that each and every one of us in this room is the creator, having a human experience. They got you looking out there because they're afraid you're going to look inside.
Exactly.
And when you look inside and you find that creator within, you come to realize that each and every one of us is born with a Judas and a Messiah.